Hey everybody, welcome to Wingman's Hangar, episode 61. Loving the new intro with the Hornets. Much better. If you're new to the show or you don't know what's going on, this is kind of an inside look at everything CIG. Chris Roberts' epic space adventure game, Star Citizen. Join us each week as we take a look at all the components we're doing to make this thing, well, come true and playable by all of us. Coming up today, we have a peek behind the scenes at our first full performance capture. What does that mean? Well, it's a lot of work for full performance capture, but the results are a much more intense and realistic video game experience. We'll get a good look at that pretty soon, and I think you guys are going to like it. We have forum feedback with your questions, and we have an interview with the lead animator, Bryan Brewer. Well, this week at CIG, I'm not really here. Woo-hoo. That's right. I'm actually out at GDC in San Francisco interviewing candidates because we've got a lot of positions to fill, especially in the Los Angeles office, and some in Austin, some in Manchester. And, you know, we just have a lot of people we need to make this epic game, and I'm actually out there. So we filmed this last week. What happened last week also? Well, episode 7 of 1.7 of the Next Great Starship. The team got together and they eliminated the last couple, which put them into the wild card pod, and you guys are now going to have a chance to vote and put them back in. And episode 1.8 will be coming up this week, and then afterwards, there'll be a little bit of a hiatus, and what that means is we're going to give the teams a chance to take a few weeks to actually enhance their models, to work together, to make it even better looking for all of us to show their wares. It's very crucial. It's getting to the point now where there's some real front runners and some people that have a lot of work to do, and I know I'm glued to my seat, and can't wait to see what happens. So, well, right on. Didn't I promise it a minute ago? Take a look at our first full performance capture segment.
Okay, here we go, guys. Quiet please. This is X-Ray 015 Alpha, take 1.
And action.
I had a chance to sit down with Bryan Brewer, Daniel Craig, and Chris Olivia after they and several other members of the Cloud Imperium team wrapped on our first ever full performance capture shoot.
Full performance capture is capturing 3 elements of an actor's performance. It's capturing their body, capturing their face, and capturing their audio, making sure that everything is synced up and timed correctly. Traditionally speaking, you would capture the actor's performance, you would have an actor somewhere in a VO booth do some dialogue, and then you would have an animator come in and animate the face. But with performance capture, you get a more true performance from our actor because everything is being recorded right there, so you get a lot of subtleties that you wouldn't normally capture any other way.
How did it go on set?
It was a bit chaotic. It was a really long week, but we came out in the end. We introduced a lot of things we never had in the pipeline before, so it was a lot of challenges. We had to sync everything up with time code. We had to bring the head cams into the system. But we got it all figured out in the end, and we got some good stuff. We got all the actors together, and I've been going through the data in the last week, and it's looking very good and nice and clean.
Chief Visual Officer Chris Olivia stepped in as the director for this test shoot. So Chris, your job was to direct the actors on set to get a performance from them.
Right.
How do you think that relates to film production versus motion capture production?
Well, I think it's extremely similar in that the main goal is to capture performance. In film, you're really worried about 1 or 2 cameras. You know, if there's a B camera, you're worried about just the frame itself, composition, and sort of like the movement within that frame. If the emotion's coming through, something like for a game, for motion capture, you sort of have to be a little bit more open-ended as far as kind of you don't know exactly where the camera's going to be. The environment or space maybe hasn't been worked out fully yet, so you're probably focused a little bit as a director more on the performance itself, almost like a stage play.
So the advantages of working in this type of virtual environment is you can take many takes of the same scene. You can then select the elements that you think are best from each take, and you can marry them together to make one seamless scene.
We can change gestures if we need to. If somebody needs to interact with a prop, we can adjust it slightly.
You can even go as far as to take just the face and audio from one scene and apply it to another scene.
It's amazing that we can capture the subtleties of a human performance. And we even have a virtual camera on set.
We can do everything that a traditional cameraman can do. We can boom, truck, dolly, zoom, pan, you name it, we can do it. And what it gives us is it gives us that subtlety that you generally don't get with hand-keyed animation, at least not easily. And it just adds that element of realism to our scene.
So I noticed all the actors had these little marks on their faces. What was the purpose of that?
Well, in order for the software to properly pick up the actors' faces, you have to mark them up. You have to put small dots and small lines around their mouths to better track their muscle movement, basically.
Now, this is just the first test of full performance capture necessary to deliver the kind of detail needed for a Chris Roberts game. And there were a lot of lessons learned.
We learned how to take all these different elements and merge them together and make them work as one seamless tool. We learned how to work with multiple actors on set all at one time.
It was a very successful test shoot. Worked out a lot of the kinks technically, so creatively and artistically, Chris Roberts, the actors, will be able to come in, knock it out of the park.
And with this test, we were able to harness the power of full performance capture for Squadron 42 and our Star Citizen game.
What I'm really excited about is basically seeing how all these little parts fit together. Now we have the motion capture, but the ships, the environments, the characters, the audio, the visual effects, there's so many little parts that come together, so I'm really excited to see how the fans perceive this, because it's looking pretty good, and I'm excited to see the reactions.
So stay tuned as we add full performance capture to our pipeline and to the games Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. And who knows, maybe a commercial or two. I'm Michael Morlan, reporting from Austin, Texas.
And now it's time for
Feedback.
Hey Rob, how you doing, man?
Fabulous.
That's a nice shirt. I think I've seen that somewhere before.
Does it look startlingly familiar to you?
Maybe the same shirt we had last week, perhaps? Well, let's get right to it, but we don't have the same questions as last week. So, from Pippi, can we get an update on the female avatar progress?
Big question.
It is.
Very important question. So, the situation with the female, as of right now, the model is pretty much finished and has been approved. They're working on her RSI spacesuit right now. And then we're going to be handing her off to Bryan and his crew to get motion capture and all the animations in and everything.
And hair and all the other stuff.
Hair, woo, hair.
Yeah, to make it good. So it's coming, it's just not there yet. So let's go back to our old ways. When is it coming?
Soon.
From Felix, can you give more details on how autopilot will work? For example, how far will you have to be from other objects or others to activate it? And will follow waypoints trade lanes or just go directly from A to B?
So let's do the second question first.
All right,
on that.
sure.
So autopilot is going to be your wing commander style,
Privateer style,
strike
freelancer,
commander,
yep.
any of those, where there's a set of nav points on your map and you can autopilot to one of them from any location, but you have to be aimed at a specific waypoint.
Sure.
You will be able to eventually like put pins in your map for your own waypoints.
Okay.
But generally you're following accepted, established trade lanes. As far as the disengage distance, that's one of those things we'll figure out as we play the game. I mean, you do need to be out of combat to autopilot, but we don't know exactly how far you need to be yet.
All right, fair enough. That's one of those things that to be determined with the help of the audience as they get in there and help us test that.
Absolutely.
From Kazuk, will the NPCs be modeled to follow player trends with what ships and equipment they select, or will the behavior be independent of what's popular with players?
NPCs are individuals. That's one of the things we're really stressing is
That
that
is
you know
true.
they have their own goals and their own careers just like the players.
Their own
do.
AI, which we looked at last week,
Which
right?
we did look at
Yep,
last
yep.
week. So yeah, what they're going to look for is the ships that they need to do their jobs, just like players do. Now, of course, in the case of people who have, that just have ships because they need them to travel, there may be some sort of trend following there because the ships that are most popular will be manufactured the most. So
Gotcha.
some NPCs will look like they're following trends that the players set, but generally they'll just do their jobs.
So the ships will kind of be whatever the role that character, that NPC has, that's the kind of ship they're
I'm
going
a freelancer? I'm in a freelancer, probably.
to. There you go. From freelancer, flying a freelancer, who knew? From Rogue, will the mass of cargo, ammunition, etc. affect the handling of the ships?
That one's a gimme. Yes, sir.
You will, right?
It's physics. If it's physics, Chris cares about it really, really, and we all do too, of course. But I mean,
Physics and thrusters.
So cargo mass and ammo mass absolutely makes a difference.
Right. Now, Chris is really big into physics. He actually studied physics. So.
Yeah, and it's a huge deal in this game, and it's one of the things that's going to really set it apart is how realistic our physics are.
Well, there you go. That's very, very cool. So the answer is yeah. From Timonis, I know the back end is less sexy. Okay, this can go both ways. Well, not touching that. But can you tell us something about which database you're using and what code the server component is based on?
I can tell you a little about that. Yeah. You know, we really could have programmers here, and we'd probably talk your ear off about it.
Yeah, that's true. Probably should have asked this last week with Jason.
That would have been a good idea.
Yeah. But we didn't, so.
No, we didn't, yeah. So we're using a clustered Cassandra database, which is the back end. And we are using NoSQL, for those of you who are curious. So it's not a relational database.
There you go.
For the nerds out there.
Okay, sure, cool. From Mandalore 3. We have seen many changes to the look and feel of the Hornet and the Scythe since the original Squadron 42 trailer. Has the Bengal carrier had similar changes and upgrades to it, and will we be seeing it again soon?
We're not talking about the Bengal carrier here.
Not the Bengal carrier, okay. The $57 million stretch goal. No, right. No. We're talking about the Bengal carrier.
So, yes, the Bengal carrier is getting a pretty significant refit for Squadron 42.
Yep.
That's not one I would use soon on. The first capital ship they're going to see that really unveils how capital ship systems are going to work is going to be the Idris.
Right.
And those of them who are reading Jump Point have already seen some of what we're doing with the Idris.
Right, and we're going to take a lot of those rooms that are being established and be able to put those into the Bagel carrier.
Yes.
From Croza, how many maps can we expect in the dog fighting module? Step carefully, Rob Irving. This is a minefield.
There's no minefields in the dogfighting module.
I know.
So right now there are 2 maps.
Right.
I think there's like a Broken Moon map, and I don't remember the name of the other one right off the top of my head. And that will continue to expand, of course. But there's a bunch of different game modes that can be played on either map. So that's really what's gonna give you the variety. At least for now. There will be more coming.
Right, like Horde AI, Free Flight, Team Deathmatch, Last Man Standing, and possibly Capture the Flag.
Possibly Capture the Flag.
So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with Dogfighting Module, and you guys will get in there, play it. You'll tell us what you like, what needs to be improved, what game types you think might work, and we'll move that direction. I mean, now we're getting into map making and gameplay types, and that's actually really, really exciting for a lot of us. It's really fun. All right, Rob, I want to thank you for joining us for the forum feedback this week, and now it's time for Ben Lesnick and this week's Most Valuable Post.
Hey everyone, welcome to MVP, Most Valuable Post. I'm Community Manager Ben Lesnick, and I'm here to tell you what the best post on the RSI forums was this week. And today I'm joined by Mr. William Lewis, our lead moderator. Hey, how's it going? Now, why don't you do the honors this week? Who stood out?
This week, our MVP is Xyphon, who created a Star Citizen Café thread.
Yeah, this thread is really cool. What he's done is make food and drink recipes based on all aspects of Star Citizen and some of the outstanding memes in the community. It's a lot of fun, and some of those drinks can get you in trouble. In fact, William here has mixed up a couple of slow gin Ben hammers according to the recipe on the thread, and we are going to try them live on MVP.
Bottoms up.
Excellent.
Not too bad, actually.
Thanks, Xyphon. You're our most valuable poster.
This week's fan focus comes from 2 of our favorite contributors, AnythingFPS and Disco Lando, where they took the buggy and created a buggy bumper car bonus round inside the hangars. Take a look at this as they zoom around and race their buggies through all these different iterations of the hangar. We're looking forward to what everybody else can do when those tools are released. Nice job, Disco and AnythingFPS. It's always good to see a little buggy racing every now and then. So hey everybody, look who we got here. We got Bryan. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good.
Yeah? So you're here today to talk about full performance capture.
Yeah, we did our first shoot the other week. 4 actors, fully suited up, helmet cams to capture their face.
got them markered up using our OptiTrack system, recorded audio. It was quite the ordeal.
Now it's a little different. I mean, before people have done games. This is kind of new. It's just started catching on in the industry. But before, you would capture like audio in a vocal booth. You'd capture movement on a sound stage, and then sometimes, if you chose to, you'd capture facial animations either in a vocal booth. Well, most of the time at the same time you're capturing vocals. So, but this is completely different. So, explain what this all means. When you say you have 4 actors, what does that mean?
Well, we have 4 actors on stage, and they're playing off of each other, kind of like a stage performance.
Exactly.
And we're capturing all the elements of the performance all at one time, like you said in the olden days.
Yeah, like last year.
Like last year. You know, you did everything separate, and then you kind of had to stick them all together in game, and there's kind of this, what do you call it, disattachment?
Yeah, detach. I mean, you could literally, like, a lot of times eye lines wouldn't match up or something of that nature.
Yeah, the face expressions and the audio and the body motions never quite fit together. With full performance capture, you're capturing the face, you're capturing the audio, and you're capturing the body movement all at the same time.
So it looks much more real and contained and feels correct. And you're right, it is sort of shot like a play or like a movie.
It's a much more solid performance. They've done it on games like the Uncharted series, Last of Us, other
Red Dead Redemption, I believe. Some of the Rockstar stuff has done it.
Yeah, I don't know about that game, as I haven't looked behind the scenes, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, they did. But I mean, it's a little different. I think they did a lot less of what we're doing now. You've brought some props here. What have you brought to show us today?
Oh, well, right here, I've got, again, I've showed this before. This is our OptiTrack Prime 41 camera.
Right, which the audience kind of, wow, that's actually...
It's a robust little camera.
What's the resolution on these things?
It's... You know, that's a good question. I should have reviewed my little
You should have reviewed?
It shoots 120 frames a second.
Wow. Hey, Rob, want to take a look?
It's not expensive at all.
No. Now, how many of those do we have?
We have...
36,
Yeah, we have 32 Prime 41s, and we have 2 Prime 17s. Prime 17s are motion capture cameras, but they're the last generation motion capture. They have a wider angle, and we use them for capturing reference, because these cameras also double as reference cameras if we decide they shoot black and white, as opposed to just shooting IR.
So all these cameras, and is it the more cameras you have, the higher fidelity you get?
Yeah, the more coverage you get, the less likely you're going to have occlusion from markers. Occlusion is when a marker that's on the actor gets hidden from the cameras, and the camera can't see it, so it can't.
It has to guess where you're at, or doesn't make that move, or whatever.
Yeah, then you have to go in and you have to fill in those little gaps. Let's say an actor's rolling around on the floor or something.
Right, because that's a good point. The more cameras, the
better coverage you have, the better the data is going to be, quicker to clean up.
Now, but what else do you have over there? I mean, that's for capturing the motion of the actor. What else do you have right now?
What I have right here is the next generation of helmet cams from Mocap Design.
Wow, look at that.
If you remember, Daniel Craig was on a few episodes back, and he had the older version 1 helmet. This is the new version 2 helmet. It's a much nicer design. It's got a 720p camera mounted on the front. You know, we put a little 32 gig SD card on the side, battery pack, plug it in. Everything's remote. Everything's captured right up here in the back of the camera. This worked incredibly well out on stage.
Now that captures just the facial. Does it also capture audio, or is that separate?
It does capture audio, but it's a low resolution audio. It's good for lining up with the performance that you're videotaping with the professional audio that's recorded.
So right, the number of frame numbers or whatever, you can get the name. Yeah.
But you know you want to professionally mic an actor or have a boom operator come in.
Absolutely.
But no, this is incredible, and it's 3D printed.
This is 3D printed?
Most of the parts on there are 3D printed.
This would be great as a Wingman's nose cam.
You can flip that around on the outside, and then you can run around as Wingman. Yeah.
Wingman doesn't run around.
Fly around.
Obviously, if Wingman's weight was a little bit less,
it
would. Yeah, we could. I don't know if this is gonna. There we go. How's that? That
look good? It fit to one of our female actresses. So.
Is that right? Is this how you wear it? This is it, right?
Just about.
I feel like Johnny Carson, like trying to play with one of those animals that's jumping around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it probably needs a different head thing for me.
Heavy.
It's very heavy. Hey, look, Rob might fit on Rob's bean over there. Try that.
I don't know. You want to try it, Rob? The actress who wore this, her name was Emmy, and she had a very small head. I haven't resized it. So.
Well, you know, I have a fairly small
don't
head
have a
as well.
small
I'm not
head-
sure
small
why it
enough
didn't
head.
fit
Yeah,
correctly.
that's not gonna
Are you
fit on
he's trying to
there.
pull it on? All right, so I don't feel like the only one who didn't
Nope,
need to try it on.
we all have large melons.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so, you know, part of you capture the video, you capture all the stuff that goes on, but are there props involved in any of this kind of stuff, or you know? Oh, you got me! I give up.
We use props like this. This is normally they're called blue guns. They're used for military and police training. They're not real. They're made out of rubber. I decided to put an orange tip on it just because we were in a mall area.
Because you're in Texas and you're driving around with that in your car.
So it's real weight, so you kind of get the actual, you know. We marker it up. Here's the mocap markers, which, you know, I don't know how the cameras are picking this up, but if light is directly coming in, it's going to bounce right back out to the camera and
Very cool.
glow. But yeah, there you go. You can.
That's pretty cool. Whoa, you're right. It's heavy.
Yeah.
So is this the actual weight of a proper gun?
That is the actual weight.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So when we build props for actors, anything that needs to have weight, we try to add weight to it. That way you get realistic motion.
And if I'm floating in space, I can. That's cool. I like it. So it's appreciate you stopping by and giving us the. You know, were you happy, by the way, with the performance before we head out of this? Were you happy? Did you Did you think the test worked? Do we have a better understanding of what it's going to be? Because I think there's a lot of work to do.
There is an amazing amount of work to do, and we were talking earlier. It was fraught with problems at the beginning.
Right.
Fought through them day one. Nothing worked. I mean, we couldn't even plug in a keyboard without finding out the USB on the keyboard was bent.
All right.
Why we can't we
One of
plug
those
this
days.
in? Yeah. It's just one of those days, but I'm going to say by the second day, I mean, we had everything going, everything running. Actors were there performing. It turned out to be a really good shoot.
But that's the idea, right? That's what we do these tests for. You do test runs. Same thing we're doing the dogfighting module. We give them a test run.
And we don't just do test runs, too. So when we do these tests, we're actually trying to put out content. So we are shooting commercials. We're doing test dialogue for Squadron 42. We're not just doing it to do it. We're trying to
work
content.
in as much actual work as possible, so it's not throwaway.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. That's exactly what we need to be doing. Well, listen, I want to thank you for stopping by and bringing the props. Rob, thanks for stopping by. Oh, I'm supposed to look at this camera, not Rob, but okay, I'll look over here at that one. Sure. That's how professional we are here. I want to thank subscribers and pledgers for everything they do. Subscribers, you make all of this possible. Wingman's Hangar, Next Great Starship, all that is thanks to your generosity. We very much appreciate it. And speaking of generosity, well, you guys are amazing. Hey guys, I got something just came in. I wasn't sure. I opened it up, saw. Didn't mean to interrupt. Anything special going on?
Sorry about that. What do you got?
It's apparently this is from our friend GoTo, and he said he is sending. He thought that last time it can't send 20 cigars. That won't be enough. So he sent you guys 300 cigars.
What?
Yeah.
No!
Yeah, he said 300 cigars.
Are you kidding me?
No. This is gonna.
Holy moly, we have the best fans in the world.
And he sent for me.
Right.
Well, it does. It's sent for me.
Oh, that's mine too.
Some Bushmill Irish whiskey. Wow, check it out, guys.
Oh my God, thank you.
We got a humidor too. We can put these in there.
Holy moly, yeah, we do.
What do we say, guys?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's from GoTo and the members of Monk.
You guys are awesome.
Thanks, guys.
This gives us energy.
As ever, your generosity is amazing. We thank you very much. Next week, we have Behavior and an inside look at the asteroid hangar, and I'll be back from GDC. And the Next Great Starship, episode 1.8 is coming. our YouTube channel. That way you get an email and you find out whenever anything's posted, like a 10 for the chairman or Inside CIG piece, you'll be alerted and you'll be the first one out there to find out what's going on inside CIG. So join that YouTube channel today. Subscribe. Submit your questions to the RSI forum. Get those questions in each week. We put something up on the forum to allow you to kind of put your questions out there for us to answer. Put them on there, get your questions in there, and your videos too. If they're really good, we'll get them on. And join us for Wingman's Hangover. Wingman's Hangover. This week, not sure we're doing it because I'm still, as I said, in San Francisco. If I do it, I'll be doing it on my laptop from my hotel room. I'll put something in the forums and let you guys know, or on chat roll, so we'll know. But usually it's 15 minutes after the show. It's kind of an informal look at what went on, and you guys can tell us what you liked and what you didn't like and how we can be better, because without your input, well, we'll keep wallowing in filth. So remember, if you want your stuff featured on Wingman's Hangar, send it in. We just might use it. Where are we going to see him, Bryan?
In the verse.
If what goes around comes around, why did he leave in the first place?